Wondering what's next in your business or personal life? Welcome to Success to Significance, Life After Breaking Through Glass Ceilings, a podcast dedicated to helping you with all of life's challenges, discoveries, and opportunities. Whether you're seeking a new career, retirement, or simply wanting to make an impact in your community or the world. Join Jen Du Plessis and her guests as they explore how to start, what to do when you're in the thick of a change or growth, and how to leave a mark in this world after breaking through your next achievement. You are moments away from the aha you've been seeking.
Well, hey there, and welcome back to this episode. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, and with me today, I have Katrina Fitten. I want to introduce you to her first, and then I'll have her tell her story. She's a certified master financial coach and business strategist, and she is on a mission to empower ambitious women entrepreneurs. I love the ambitious piece of that. I always say serious.
Yes.
Serious, women serious about business, right? Empower ambitious women entrepreneurs to achieve cash flow abundance in their business through strategic business funding. And I can't wait to dig a little more into this. She leads the Womanpreneur Wealth Academy, and her unwavering, we won't go into all the details, but her unwavering motto is that with the right knowledge and a strong, supportive network, business success is not just possible, it's inevitable.
Yes.
So with that, I want to say thank you so much, Katrina, for joining us today. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me to be a part of your podcast. I'm so happy to be able to share with you today.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny, we had like a 45-minute or maybe an hour conversation a couple of weeks ago. And then we now have been on the phone for like 10 minutes just chit-chatting about
Exactly.
everything. We have such a great kindred spirit so instantly. And I think that's just amazing that can happen in business, especially for women, to have that. But before we get into funding and business strategy and things like that, I want to talk about your background. I want to find out, I'm always amazed and excited to talk to other women that come from the financial services industry, because, for me, having been in mortgage lending and real estate, my husband and I own a lot of real estate for so many years, this is just normal for me, and I imagine that it's become that for you, and for you, and we'll get to that point too, but for you, your I'll call it challenge, or maybe it's not, but your challenge is to help women first become fiscally knowledgeable before they can even go into that step, right? So we'll talk about that too, but let's talk about your history and what brought you to do what you're doing today.
Right. Well, I did when I was growing up. So I was brought up in kind of like a middle class household. However, it was kind of like, low mid, right? Because my mom had a wonderful job with PepsiCo. So she's actually ended up retiring after 45 years, right? And so my mom had, this wonderful secure job. And my mom always taught us, like, Katrina, you go to school, you graduate, you go to college, and you get you a good job, and you get into that job, and I'm telling you, life is going to be wonderful. Okay. Guess what? I did exactly what my mom told me.
Oh, wow. I was going to say you probably did the opposite, because no one has these long careers like that anymore. Yeah.
Exactly. But no, me being the good firstborn, we're like, oh, I'm going to be an example. I'm going to go to college. And I did just that. I got a full scholarship. I went to Texas A&M University. I'm an Aggie, graduated from college in agriculture economics, and went off into the food industry, and literally went up the corporate ladder and over, millions of dollars in budgets and all of the things, and really was really prosperous. But what I was so happy about was that I was the first in my family to graduate from college. Some of them went to college, went to trade school, did a lot, but no one actually graduated with their bachelor's. And so I was so proud of that. And so I set this pattern for my siblings behind me, right? And so I was kind of like as my sister would tell it, I was kind of like the golden child, is what she
Oh
says,
yeah. The
because I was
firstborn
like
is,
setting the
come
tone.
on. The
Yeah,
firstborn is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was setting the tone. I was doing all of the things, I got the house, got the BMW. I mean, I was just doing all of the things. And people were like, oh, Katrina, we're going to follow in her footsteps. And that's exactly what they did. But what they didn't tell me, Jen, is that life happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So life happens. And one day they called me into HR and they were like, Katrina, we're doing layoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fortunately, we have a wonderful severance package just for you, for all of your years and dedication, doing above and beyond. We are so helpful, grateful that you have helped us to be able to achieve our goals. But unfortunately, we are restructuring and, all of the things.
Mm.
And I'm sitting there like in disbelief because I'm like, this happened to me?
I gave you my life.
What are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And so when I got home, I had a time to think about it, the drive home, I was like, no problem. I got degrees, I got certifications, I got experience. This is no problem. Piece of cake, right? I get another job, right? So I did just that. I started to applying and doing all of the things. But what happened after almost 7 months of going through my savings, going through tapping into my 401k,
Yeah.
borrowing money from friends, all of these things, I ended up having to make one of the worst decisions I never, ever dreamed that I would have to make. And that is, I had to sell my home. It was during 2008 when, your house wasn't worth as much.
Right.
I didn't really get a gain much on it. It was just like a wash. And I was just so devastated. And I was trying to keep this from my family.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I'm not going to let them know. I'm just going to
Because
do
I'm the
this as
golden
usual.
child. I don't want to
I'm the
have any
golden
parties.
child. I don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, that mom's intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Women, some of you in the on the podcast that are listening may think about, yeah, that intuition. I know. So my mom called me in the middle of the day one day and caught me off guard. And she was like, so what are you doing today? And I was like, oh, I'm doing. She was like, you're not at work? Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
And I was behind on my mortgage and all of this. And she was just like, this was before the mortgage when I made that decision. And I was like, well, I got this going on. I got laid off in my job. And it's been, all of these months. And I didn't get that job. I didn't get that interview. They said that I was overqualified. They da 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 da. And she was like, Katrina, you're going to have to come home. And I'm like, heck no.
How
But
old were you at that time?
I was 30, somewhere around, let me see, 2008. I was, because I'm 56 now. So, yeah. So I was in my 30s, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. So I made the dreadful decision to move back in with my mom. And I went into a depression. I was like, this is not happening to me. I felt like I had let the family down. I had let my siblings down. I just really felt like I am a failure, right?
Yeah.
And so, as people who are faith, you know what we do, right? We pray, we believe that, I have, my
Something
confession.
right around the corner, looking for the other window, the door that closed, the window opens, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I know that I have something happen. And really, one day, as I was in my quiet time in prayer and meditation, it just dropped in my spirit, move to Atlanta. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh. Okay.
I'm looking around like, did anybody else hear that? moved to Atlanta, I was just like, oh my God. But I got still and I got quiet,
Mhm.
right? Because I felt like there's no other hope. I got to hear and I got to get in a place. And that's where I started developing my self development, right?
Mhm.
And I had to really lift myself up. And I got an answer to move to Atlanta. But the trip thing about it, Jen, 2 weeks later, I got a call from a recruiter and they said, hey, we got this position up in Atlanta. They saw your resume and they're looking,
Right.
they're looking
There you go. That's
they're
what's
looking for someone just like you with all your experience. And when she said that, I was like, oh, I already know this is it. I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm moving to Atlanta. She's looking at me like, is she crazy? All of our family's in Texas. No one moves out of Texas. What are you doing? And long story short, I got that job. They paid for everything. They paid for my stuff to be moved up there, my car. I mean, they gave me bonus. Ended up moving here to Atlanta, literally everything that I lost, I have gotten double for that, right? 10x, 20x, right? A bigger house, better car. And then what was most important of all, Jen, this is where I met my baby, my
yeah.
husband. He was here.
Yeah. And you had to find him, and
And I
he was
had to find
probably
him.
asking for God to bring you to him, and that's because that's exactly how it goes. Yeah. Well, so what, so that's your corporate world. So what happened that you decided to, and
Yes.
I don't know if you know this or not. Do you know who the singer Basha is?
Basha, no.
Oh my goodness. So everybody listening here, Basha, Basia, she's one of my most favorite
Let
singers.
me
It's
mark that down.
her
BASAA.
voice is not from her gut. It's like from her throat. I don't know, maybe that's the wrong way to sing, but I mean she just is so good. But she has a song called It'll Be a New Day for You. She has that song. And so when I saw the name of your company, New Day for You Financial, I was like, I cannot wait to tell Katrina about this.
Oh, yeah, I
You should be
promise you, I'm
walking
going
on
to
stage
listen.
using Basha's song. Yeah. Um, obviously it's a new day for you. It was a new day for you as well.
There you go.
And you said, okay, now I'm going to start this company, and maybe you got tired of doing what you were doing in corporate, or another layoff came your way. But I guess one of the questions I have about a new day for you is, why just women? I mean, you may have men clients, but why is your focus on women? Is there something in that story that
Yes.
makes that so important to you?
Exactly. So the really defining moment after going through that trial, it really caused me to really think deep within. And I was like, there are so many women that go through the same thing that I've gone through.
Mhm.
And I was like, I have to make sure that I will never, ever, ever have another broke day in my life.
Mm.
And I told myself what I would do is I would learn financial literacy, and I would really develop myself in a way around personal finances. That's where I started, to be able to help other women do it. And so I would go to, shelters and things, and I would teach them financial literacy.
Oh, that's good.
And I would do my family help. And I went into Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace. That's where I
Oh, I
started.
love that. I
And
love
quite
Dave Ramsey. Yeah.
yes, that's where I started. And so I went through his program, became that's where I got certified through him. I was a financial coach for Dave Ramsey for a while. And then I decided while doing that, I need to go ahead and just branch off and do my own. And so
Mhm.
that's where New Day for You Financial was birthed. And I became an affiliate with him. And all of the leads, when you say you want financial coaching, those leads will come to me and others. And that's how I started. And so essentially, New Day for You was birthed by way of my heart to make sure that no woman ever have to go through anything like I went through. And number one key thing was never have one stream of income.
Oh, yeah, Absolutely.
Never do that. And so that's what I learned. And so that's what I began to coach my clients on. And then about 2 years ago, I transitioned to helping on business owners, women business owners to be able, and yes, I do have men clients as well, but that's kind of my ideal client. I have a reach out to all business owners, and then I reach out specifically to women as well. So it's kind of two types of businesses that I kind of run.
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
Day for You Capital is for everybody. New Day for You
Right.
Financial is for women. Yes.
Oh, gotcha. So I want to ask you a question about financial literacy. I mean, this, and I've talked about this before on the show, is that, we all know what it takes to be healthy, that we should eat right and not drink and not smoke and get plenty of exercise and sleep, et cetera. And we have this knowledge of what it takes to be physically healthy.
Mhm.
Financial literacy, people know, they have this knowledge. They know that they need to save and not spend, right? They know that.
Yeah.
What do you think? And I've been through financial peace. In fact, I got to tell you, all of my kids have been through financial peace university as well. I made sure that as soon as they turned 18, they went, and then they took their future spouses. And now I've been married for, 5 to 13 years, and they all went through it as well. There's aspects I'm not a
Yeah,
hundred
that's the same
percent
thing.
with, like I don't think everybody should have their house paid off, because we need credit to
There
do
you go.
things.
You need credit.
But the challenge is, if we know what we need to do, because everybody knows save and not consume, even if you've never been to a workshop, you know that. What is the hiccup? What's the thing? What do you think it is? If you could say it's one word, like lack of faith, or, well, I shouldn't say that. It's more pride, discipline, those type. What do you think it is that is the problem between financial literacy and then financial health,
Yes, I have
right?
a quote that I often say, and that is this: we don't have a money problem, we have a money mindset problem.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
the mindset, right? So
Yeah.
what happens is, as you know, if you're, a mindset guru, like I consider myself sometimes, is that I know that it all starts with your money story,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
What kind of things you were told when you were brought up, all of those patterns were started while you were little, what you listened to, what you saw, and those habits you began in your early adulthood. This is what you think is what you should do, right?
Yeah.
If you had a parent that was really like, look, money don't grow on trees, and no, you can't have that, no, put that down, you can only get one thing. I mean, you have these things where I'm broke, I can't do that, you can't go there, we don't have any money. So all of a sudden you may have a scarcity mentality when you start getting money, right?
Oh,
You're
I do. Yeah, that was definitely me. I mean, I came from poor, and, can make money, right? And this is in the old days, right? Could make money, but then I could spend it
yeah,
because I wasn't worthy of having it. And it
yeah,
was a subconscious reaction. As soon as I knew it was coming, it was already spent
yeah,
because I don't deserve it, because I have to stay
yes.
in that mentality of being poor.
Yeah, so there are what we call money traumas that we
Mhm.
have gone through that has caused us, and we can do it unconsciously.
Yeah.
Right? I'm by nature a covering, not covered, because I get recovered and then I'm recovering, and I get recovered and I'm recovering.
Oh, I do. I bounce back into it. I'll buy something and go, seriously.
Yeah, a
What were
spender,
you thinking?
right?
Yeah.
What they call habitual spender. So I
Yeah.
love to spend. And so I always say, well, I'm just going to get more money, right? If I want to spend more, I'll get more. And I try not to have the scarcity mentality where I just got to save, and hoard it. And like, no, because I have a mindset belief
Yeah.
that I get money to be able to utilize it for an asset, right? So that
Yeah.
it can help to grow my net worth. And so I know that. And so if I want to buy things, I usually try to get assets to be able to try to pay for those things. So that way it helps me to and I've learned that over time. And so to answer your question about, we know those things, but yet sometimes we, ended up for habits and unconsciousness, we just end up spending it. It's because of the mindset. And that's something that you have to work on a daily basis. You have a plan, right? For your money. I always say have a mission for your money. And if you have a mission for your money before you get it, and if you can follow the plan, then that will help you as you do that over time repetitiously. And then that helps you to be able to unconsciously do it a whole lot better than if you didn't do it that way.
Well, and I have to say, I mean, for me personally, it's sort of I always, it's akin to, and I do think, my father was an alcoholic. So for me, I think
My stepfather was too.
I think that became my alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When things aren't good, let's go spend. When things aren't good, let's do, this. I mean, it's the same kind of thing.
Makes
and
you
so
feel
I think
better. What do we say? We used to call it what we call it
shopping therapy or something.
Retail therapy or something.
Retail therapy, right? Retail therapy, right? But the thing is, I think once you're always to your point, you're always a recovering alcoholic. You're never not an alcoholic. And I think that you are a recovering. And I think if someone is looking for the magic pill so that they understand money and they're never going to have any problems with money, it's a fallacy. Would you agree?
I would totally agree, because what happened is, obviously, after going through that personally and helping people, personally pay off their debt and do all of the things, right? But what happened is I end up going into business, right? And so when I went into business, I was trying to utilize those same principles in business, and that doesn't work that way. It's total different, what I call financial fluency. It's totally different way of doing things, a different way of thinking. So you have to program your mind on how to do business, financial business, because you can't say, okay, I'm not going to have any debt in business, and I'm not going to, do this in business like you do on the personal side. And so that's what happened. And when I got, as a financial coach, I got a financial coach, and my coach told me, he was like, Katrina, you cannot operate your business like this. You have to, what he said is the thing that 82% of women entrepreneurs are overlooking. And I was like, what is that? He was like, it's funding. He said, you have to use OPM, other people's money, to help you to leverage, get to your destination faster. Because if not, it's just like having a mortgage. You can save up $1 million to get that house that you want. How long is that going to take you? Half of a lifetime, or maybe not even a lifetime.
Especially nowadays, right?
Exactly. But what we do, we go to
leverage
the bank and use other people's money so that we can get that 30-year, 15-year mortgage, and we pay it over term. That's using other people's money. So it's this, because I was stuck in the Dave Ramsey mindset. And so what that helped me to do, after I had to study about other people's money and how, the 1% of the 1% utilizes, buys assets, not liabilities, and all of those things. And I was like, this revelation. I was like, oh my God.
Well, this is a great segue, because I think when people hear, business owners hear funding, and it's funny because, a lot of business owners use their credit cards, right? I definitely use my personal credit cards. I have all kinds of protection for me on that. I have all kinds of minutes in my LLCs.
Yes.
But I use personal credit cards, and then I have business accounts and things like that. But I think a lot of business owners think credit cards. They don't think funding in the manner that you're proposing, even though you may be saying, hey, look, it's okay if you have a credit card or 2 credit cards or whatever, but also look at this other way of funding. So let's talk about what the fear is for businesses when it comes to this F word of funding.
Yes. So So obviously, I always start out, we was talking about the money mindset, right? And so that's where you have to start over again. You have to make sure that you have a mindset and a belief that the money that you are getting, that you have a mission for it, meaning that you have a business plan, right? And you have, a campaign, you have your expenses, you have your spending plan. I don't like to say the B word, but
Right.
budget.
You're keeping your money in flow plan. Yeah.
There you go. And so we know that your money is an energy and it flows into to do something, right? And so once you program your mind, and you know that your money has a mission and you need more of it because you have more purpose, you have more things to do, then what you do, you say, okay, how can I either, number one, which most women do, they use their own personal money, right? Well, what that does, it causes your personal credit to be at risk, and you don't want to do that or make a habit of that. You may start off that way, but you don't want to make a habit of that when you're in business, because why? You want to keep your personal and your business separate. You don't want to pierce the corporate veil, right?
Yeah.
And so with the limited liability corporation, especially, you just don't want to mix the two, right? And so you want to have its own entity, and you want to, not only you have built your credit as a person, as a social security number, but as a business, as an EIN number, you want to build credit there. And so in order to do that, just like you did when you was a teenager and a young adult, you did what? You went and got your credit card so that you could have revolving credit. You went and got you an installment loan so that you can have installment, credit. And want to know, can you pay that on time? How long have you had the history of paying on time? That helps you to have a business credit score. They have Paydex score, business Experian, business Equifax. It's all types of scores on the business side. And what that does, it allows you to establish credibility with the banks, other people's money, so that you can get money just by your business name only, your EIN only, not doing a personal guarantee from your personal.
Yeah.
And so
what is the best way
to do that? And you have to have a mindset and being
that debt is okay when it comes to business. It is, as long as it's being used properly, it's okay. Because I had to get past that. I remember having a coaching call with someone, on my story, when I made the transition from being in the financial services industry for so long, and I was already owned my company and was already coaching and speaking on the side. But when I made that transition, I had credit card debt of $3,000. And when I made that transition, I paid a first coach, and that's 15. And then I paid a second coach, right? It all started adding up. Then I was talking with this other coach that I paid too. And I said, I was almost in tears. Like, I'm just freaking out because I've got this debt, this revolving credit card debt. And I'm freaking out. I made all these mistakes and it's not working, and this, that, and the other. And he goes, you got to get over, and he didn't say you got to get over this. He walked me through it very well. And it shifted my mindset of, wait a minute, you have to spend money to make money. And I get that, but I didn't have it before that, because before it was, I was just money adverse, or not money, but debt adverse, other than mortgages and stuff.
Yeah.
And but if someone's listening to this and they're saying, okay, I hear you saying I've got to make the shift, but I'm kind of afraid to make the shift, etc. But what would be their next step if, most entrepreneurs have, I was going to say company business entrepreneur. There was like a whole big word there. Someone will merge those words together one day. But when, you're an entrepreneur, you go and you get your LLC and you get your EIN, and then you open up a bank account. And that's kind of where it stops for so many people. So how do they get credit other than saying, well, I've had a bank account?
Right. So first of all, it starts out with structure, right? Your business has to be structured properly. And also what we do and how we assist our clients is that we want to make sure that your business is structured properly, meaning, so I'm just going to give you a few things. So first of all, oftentimes when they go to register their business with their legal, their Secretary of State, some people, when they're started off, they put their personal home address on there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's one thing that will need to be edited and corrected, is that you want to make an amendment to make sure you have an actual virtual office address if you are a home business, or you need a brick and
Like a
mortar
UPS
address.
store isn't a good way to do it. Or if you are, maybe, your business can afford a Regis office, something like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we recommend. We recommend a virtual office address, meaning that this is what, if I Google your address, it's going to show me a picture of a building. That's what you want. That makes you look credible to the banks. If they
Yeah.
can Google your address and they see a business building, right? That's where you get with
Yeah.
Regis, Alliance virtual offices. There are several that are out there, but that's one of the things I highly recommend, is to make sure you have an actual business office address. And then number two, make sure that you have an actual business phone number, right? So meaning that you have a 1-800 number, meaning that if I go on to 411 and look for your business name, does it show up as a business address? So you need to have it listed with the 411, which you can go to listyourself.net and get that listed for free. Another thing you want to make sure that you do, you want to have something as simple as having a website, right? Or at least have a business email address, right?
Right. Instead of a Gmail or a
Instead of a
Yahoo. I
Gmail or
see this all
Yahoo
the
or
time.
AOL, whatever all they
I
have
see
out
this
there.
all the time. That is probably one of the biggest things I say is if you're truly going to be in business, you have to have a business email address. Yeah.
You got to. So, and there are obviously several more, but we want to make sure that you're structured properly. Do you have a Dun and Bradstreet number? Right? That's the way that you start reporting as well. And so from there, you have to start getting vendor credits. Then you start getting store credits. You start getting bank credit. And then what happens, you have to make sure, what people don't know, they think that people automatically report. And that's not true. So on the business credit side, the business bureaus, you have to ask those vendors, who do they report to? And we have all the list of all of the vendors that report to the credit bureau, because what you're trying to do to establish your business credit, you want to have trade lines reporting that you're paying them on time. And
Yeah.
that way, as you develop those increase of trade lines on your business credit side, that allows you to have a business credit score, even to get an SBA loan. There's
Yeah.
a S, they call it a SBA SBSS score, and that's a score that the SBA people look at to see if you are, can get approved for their loan. So it's just really having the knowledge of how does that work, with business credit? Because what you want to do over time is you want to be able to get credit in your business name, not always doing a personal guarantee.
Yeah, and I think that's important. One of the ways I started off was Federal Express, right? And it was so funny because when I started doing it, it was during COVID, and I'm like, well, now what am I going to do, right? So I would send Federal Express documents to my kids, just a letter, a little like a birthday cards through Federal Express.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that I could use it once a month for 6 months to try to get, some credit on there. And anytime someone said, well, I'll just, I'll send you my book. I go, hold on, let me give you my Federal Express number. I'll pay for it.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, it's just some simple things like that that I think, are beneficial for people, to constantly, be able to use. And I love it. Thank you so much for giving so much insight for those that are listening, because I know a lot of people, one of the things about the show is that we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the secrets, the tips, the tricks, everything that have to do, with business. And I think if you're someone who's listening and you're thinking about making the transition that Katrina did, the transition that I did several years ago, now's the time to incorporate. Now's the time to start developing some of that so that you can hit the ground running and not find yourself like I just said what I did, right, to get things going.
Yeah, Absolutely, because at the end of the day, you want to establish business credit so that you can, buy that property, right? You can end up putting your car that you're using for your business in your business name. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
what's happening here, Jen, is that now you're not putting all of this utilization on your credit score.
Yeah.
You're not causing your debt to income ratio to be increased. When you're putting it now on your EIN number, that really causes your personal credit score to rise, because
Right.
now you're not putting all that on your personal credit card. You're not putting all of it in your personal name, but it's now in your business name.
Yeah.
So all of that, I mean, it's so much more that we could
Oh, I'm
talk
sure that
about.
we could dig in forever on this, because
Yeah.
I think, we talked about the starting up, then you have the mid-level, and then you have the higher level, different ways. I think one of the last questions I want to ask you though is, once you establish some credit and then you want to seek that funding, where are some places you can go to get funding? I mean, I get it. Credit cards, a bank, get a line of credit, with a vendor so that you could, I don't know, or order tchotchkes for your business, logo things. But is there a larger area that people could go to get bigger funding for some of the bigger things that they want to do, the projects they want to put together that they're holding back on? Is that then the next step?
Yes. So once you establish your business structure and you have trade lines that are reporting to your business credit, then that allows you to be no guarantee on your personal credit. And what happens is that now we're able to go in and get credit cards, like we call 0%
Mhm.
credit card interest for 18 to 24 months, what we call credit card stacking. We're able to get you several cards in your business's name,
Mhm.
and it doesn't show up on your personal credit at all. As well as we're able to get unsecured term loans as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
We're also able to get you SBA loans. We can get you loans. You have property, we can loan against your property. It's called cash, credit, or collateral.
Mhm.
We can get you merchant cash advances for your cash, that your revenue that you're bringing into your business. We can get you on your collateral if you have property, if you have equipment, you have any assets, we can loan against that as well. And so there's several ways, but what I always want people to also don't forget is there is funding is also grants, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, and
so
especially for women.
yes. And so women, minorities, all of that, you're able to get grants, which is free money, because all of the credit cards and loans and lines of credit, all of that, you do have to pay back. And
Yeah.
so I always remind people that, so you want to make sure that you're making money in your business, or if you're a startup, that you have a plan on how you're going to make that money so that you can get what we call a return on the investment as well, cash on cash return. So,
Right. Right.
but
Okay.
cash flow is really the bloodline of your business.
Oh,
You want to
absolutely.
have a cash flow in business.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to keep it in flow. Well, I wanted to make sure we got that end result here too, because everything that you do is about funding. So we wanted to get to that part of it.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
yeah. So as we finish up our time here today, Katrina, what is another mantra that you have? Because I know we've already talked about your mantra, but is there another mantra? Is there a book? Is there a blog or something that you want to share with everybody and say, hey, look, go, I would say read Dave Ramsey for sure. If you've never even done the basics, do something like that. But
Exactly.
what would you suggest that people do? What do you want to leave us with today?
Yeah, so if they could go to my website. Well, in your on your website, I know you're going to be sharing
Yeah,
where
in the show notes, we'll have that there.
as
Yeah.
well. Exactly. And so they can just go there and get in contact with me. We have what we call a business clarity call. And what we do, we will go from there, and you will be on our list to be able to get our newsletter that we do a blog as well, which is called Womanpreneur Wealth Wisdom, where you are always sharing all types of tips and hacks of how you can save money, like travel hacking and financial statements. We dig into that. I mean, all of that, how you can make sure you're having a cash flow abundance in your business, all of that. And so I just say if they could just go to where you have all of the show notes and go there, and that's where they can reach me to be able to show them how they can get funding for their business.
Yeah, I love that. And of course, you should be following her as well on Instagram and LinkedIn. And we have all these links we'll be putting in the show notes as well. So I love that. Okay, a mantra, a book?
Yes, the mantra. Yes, here's my mantra. So my mantra is this. It's called focus. Follow one course until successful. Focus on one thing. Oftentimes we try to start doing several things. Oh my God, I'm gonna get credit cards. I'm gonna get a line of credit. I'm gonna get a term loan. I'm gonna get it. You're doing a lot, right? It's like focus on one thing. If you need structure in your business, focus on that. Establish your proper structure. I think we are giving away a free gift about a bundle. We have all of that on our website, New Day for You Financial, where we tell you 20 steps of how to structure your business. Focus on that. If it's like, okay, I'm ready to establish business credit, focus on that, but focus on one thing until successful. So
I love that. I love that. I was just telling a client that yesterday. She's like, I want to do this and then the other. But I didn't use this word. I'm now going to gobble this up and use it.
FOC. I know you like acronyms.
I'm an acronym girl, and I love it. I love that. And, because what I always tell everyone, I mean, it doesn't matter what the number is, but for me, it's, I'm good at this stream of income until I make $100,000. Then I go to the next stream of income. Maybe it's 50, maybe it's 25 for you. Maybe it's not money. Maybe it's once I have 100 clients. Whatever it is, don't deviate too fast. And this is, one of my both of my dear friends, Sharon Lechter and Dr. Greg Reed wrote the book 3 Feet from Gold. We're 3 feet away from ultimate success and we just don't get to that point. And so we shift and we go start digging someplace else. So, I love that you're saying focus. That's absolutely beautiful.
There's another book also that's called One Thing.
One Thing. Oh yeah. By Keller Williams.
Yes, that's another book that really taught me a lot because when I went to my mentor, he was like, okay, you're doing everything. You're doing finances. You're doing real estate. You're doing that. And I was just like, he was just like, okay, focus on one thing. And that's why I was like, okay, we're going to help women get funding. It was like, okay, thank you.
I totally get it. And, later you can focus on multiple things, but, until you get some footing and everything, I think it's important to stay in your lane. And, I always say, if you're selling everything to everyone, you're selling nothing to no one. So you've got to, really niche it down and really focus. So, but I love what you're saying is it's not about a focus of clients, which is so often what we hear in business, not necessarily a focus of marketing, which we hear in our business. It's a focus of the structure of your company, the underlying foundation, so that all those other things can be built up. And, I just love that you said that. So thank you so much, Katrina, for sharing time with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to dig in. We've talked about a lot of fun things, and it was just good to get into the business piece because that's exactly what I love doing. So thank you for being here with us today. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You've been listening to Success to Significance with Jen Du Plessis, the #1 podcast for people wanting to give more value and make an impact. Loved this episode? Be sure to subscribe right now at www.jenduplessis.com/S2S for more stories, strategies, and thoughts to help you gain significance and success. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to give us a rating and review so we can continue to bring you the best content possible. Join us next week for another breakthrough episode. Thank you for listening.